I did stuff that should have been a home run, and then it wasn't. Like Eternals, it was Oscar-winning director, one of the craziest casts. You had like legends. You had Salma Hayek. You had Angelina Jolie. You had new people who were amazing: Brian Tyree Henry, Barry Keoghan, who have both been nominated for Oscars.
So you
since
thought it
then.
was just a slam dunk?
I was like, "This is going to be a slam dunk, and it'll be great. It'll open all this stuff for me." And going into it was great for me because I was like, I need to have fun doing this movie. And so I did. And I was like, I understand this movie in my bones. I understand superheroes. I understand sci-fi. I understand like sci-fi epics. And so I had the best time doing that movie. And I realized this is what work should feel like. However, when that movie came out and the reviews weren't good, that was very, very tough for me. And I realized that too much of how I'm evaluating what I want to do is based on the result, what other people think of it.
When you talk about Eternals and it wasn't the response that you were hoping, how did that affect you? Did it really consume you for a while? Did it something you had to get counseling on? Is it something where you took it to heart? Like, was it me? What was this?
I knew it wasn't me. I think that there were a lot of things that went into it. I love that movie. I'm very proud of that movie. I'm proud of everyone's work in it, and I'm proud of my work in it. And I've seen that movie, I've seen it a bunch of times because it's like my kind of movie. And I don't watch stuff I'm in a lot, and a lot of stuff I'm in I've never watched. It was really, really hard because Marvel thought that movie was going to be like really, really well reviewed. And so they lifted the embargo really early, and they also put it in some fancy movie festivals. And they sent us on a big like global tour promoting the movie right as the embargo was lifted. And so we had to like sort of travel the world while they thought we'd be going on a wave of raves, and it wasn't true. It just sort of was. The reviews were really bad.
And you were aware of it while you were on tour?
Yeah, I was too aware of it. I was reading every review. I was checking too much because this thing had become too much in my head, because this was also right after the pandemic, so we're coming out after this crazy thing. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be the coming out party. I worked so hard for this.
And everything's heightened. Your anxiety in life, everything's kind of like, and now this happens.
Everything's heightened. And I don't know. I mean, I think that there was some weird soup in the atmosphere for why that movie got slammed so much. And I think not very much of it has to do with the actual quality of the movie. Anyway, it was really, really hard. And that's when I was like, hey, this is unfair to me. It's unfair to Emily. I can't approach my work this way anymore. Some shit's got to change. And so very intentionally, I did start counseling. I still talk to my therapist about that. Emily says that, obviously that I do have trauma from it. Emily and I just got dinner with someone else from that movie, and we were like, man, that was tough, wasn't it? He's like, yeah, that was really tough. I think we all went through something kind of similar. And then this guy that I'm talking about is like truly one of the best actors of our generation and has been nominated for an Oscar since then. So I realized I can't be so results-based in my work anymore, because I can't really control it. I can control my experience. I can control how I am to the people around me. I can control what I learn from it. I can control how I work. Can't control what people are going to think of it.
No, I on a smaller level, it was one of my first, it was my first movie really. And it was called Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, and it was with Clint Eastwood. And I played I had two scenes, but one was cut, but I had one big scene.
Is that John Cusack?
Yeah. I had like a 7-minute scene in the courtroom, and I really loved my performance, and I really liked the movie, and the script was a bestseller, John Barron. I think that was right.
Yeah, that was a big movie.
But it bombed, and I was like, how am I in one of the only Clint Eastwood movies to bomb? How am I, out of all his movies?
It's
like, if this would have been a huge success, more people, and it just, but a few casting people saw the movie and said, I like this kid, and it helped me out in ways. But I was like, oh, and then I did many movies that I thought were going to be, and then they buried us, or at the same weekend came other movies out, and then I look back and I go, I really love that movie, and I really enjoyed doing it, and the process was really fun, and that's what you gotta like. You can't predict success.
No.
All you can do is strive for it.
All you could do
and
is
enjoy it.
Yeah, you really have to enjoy it. We get to live our dreams. I mean, it's can you
Living our dreams?
Yeah,
man.
we really are. And
We are.
I know it's a tough industry, and there's a lot of fucked up about it, and a lot of it is based on how well things are doing and how well things aren't doing. But you can't control that, and just be happy for the opportunities you have. I mean, I say this. It's still a struggle, you know. I talk to my therapist about it a lot. I talk to Emily about it a lot. And
does she go, "Oh, come on, Kumail"?
I mean, she says I have career dysmorphia, which I think is probably a little bit true. So I still have like that thing of like the underdog, like I'll show them what I got.
Yeah,
you know?
we all have that. Now that's healthy.
I think it is healthy.
I think that's a good thing.
Well, part of the thing for me that I have to a little bit, what the chip on my shoulder about that specific thing is I'm a brown guy who's a comedy guy. And so it's very easy to get put into a certain kind of box. And then when you change the box, suddenly you're in a different box. And you're like, no, the point is I want to do shit that I want to really challenge myself and learn and do shit I've never done before. And it's hard because in this business, for the most part, you are looking for other people to like see that in you, to give you that shot,
validate you, and kind of give you,
give you that shot, you know. And so to me, that's that. I just want to be like, all right, what can I do now that's like totally different from anything I've done before? Or what can I do that combines a bunch of things that I've been learning the last few years in a new way?
Yeah.
So that's sort of how I try and make my decisions.
Well, I think some people are, they do a part, and they're good at that part, and they continue to do stuff like that, and they don't have a big range, and they get stuck sort of, but with you, I think after you've obviously proven yourself dramatically and comedically, not comically, comedically.
Really,
I'm not an English guy.
Sometimes comically.
You've really done a good job. Yeah, but I was thinking about this when you're, striving to be a comedian and going up every night and putting yourself out there. Did you ever seriously think in the back of your head, whether it's ego or drive or aspirations or perspirations, like that you wanted to become a serious actor, that you were going to be a serious actor?
Not at all. I didn't want to be an actor at all. I kind of fell into it. I think what helped me when I was doing stand-up was I never had a big plan in mind. It was always just like the next step is what I was looking for. So when I was doing open mics, I was like, I want to be booked on a show. And when I was booked on a show, I was like, oh, I want to be booked on the road outside of Chicago. And when I did that, I was like, oh, I don't want to host. I want to feature now. I want to go from doing 10 minutes to 20 minutes.
See, well, that's healthy. Look at that. Back then, you were going from step to step. You weren't jumping steps.
Exactly.
I want to be huge.
Yeah.
I want to have my own Netflix show.
And there were certainly people who thought like that. And then who did get that, but I never had a grand vision. I just loved doing stand-up, and I wanted to write funny jokes.
And what you're saying is enjoying the ride.
Yes.
One of my friends said he had a movie that bombed. I mean, Rosen bombed. And he said, I go, how do you feel about it? He goes, well, I thought about it like this. If I was the young me and somebody says, you're going to be the lead actor in a movie and you're going to direct the movie.
Yeah.
Would you even be thinking about, and you're going to make money?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
you wouldn't be thinking about anything but just like, this is great. This is fun.
Yeah.
Let's have fun. And there were moments on set where I was having fun and enjoying it in the moment, but we can't control that. And the more I try to enjoy what I'm doing, the process, it makes life so much easier.
It does, but it is a constant. You have to be intentional about it, So now I'm trying to make decisions about what I do based on like, oh, I love this actor. This is a small movie, but I love this actor. Mm-hmm. I want to learn from them. I want to watch how this guy works. So I'm going to do this movie. Movie may be great. It may not be great. It may be a hit. It may not be a hit. But I know that experience of working with this guy is going to be phenomenal. Like I did this movie Stuber years and years ago.
Yeah.
Didn't do well, but I met Dave Bautista and we're still like really, really good friends. And it was worth doing that movie from just like that connection I made.
Boy, he's blown up, huh? Yeah. I love it too. I text him. I'm like, I'm so damn proud because
my self-worth ultimately is too tied to my career and what I'm doing. My worth as a human being is too based on how I perceive myself as being at my job. I don't have that, like, it don't matter. I'm like, that's what was hard when I would do stand up all the time. If you have a bad set, you feel bad about yourself until the next, that day fucking sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's the same with like acting, if I have a day on set where I don't think I was at my best, that like really, really, really makes me feel like shit. I feel like I'm not like a worthy person. Too much of my worth is not inherent. Too much of my worth comes from how I think I'm doing. I do think we're setting ourselves up for ultimate failure because another, I think I put this block there, is divorcing my experience of doing something from the results. So, we did The Big Sick. We had a great time doing it. It was hard, but it was a great time. And then it was successful. Great. I've done stuff where I've worked just as hard as I did on The Big Sick, and it has not been successful. And then it's tainted my experience. It's made me feel stupid for having a good time doing this thing and working so hard at this thing that didn't make money.
Thinking it was going to be good.
Thinking
Like,
it was going to be good.
Oh, this is going to crush.
That's the fucking feeling I hate, which later. But you have to do that. It's very, very hard to make a movie because it is a lot of work. 14-hour days, day after day after day. There are harder jobs. I'm not saying there aren't. And it's emotionally taxing. You have to think that what you're making is great, because I've also made stuff that I knew wasn't great, and that's a worse experience. But what I want to do is do what I do, because, Big Sick we got to control, but a lot of this stuff, you don't really get to control how it's going to come out. Enjoy that experience for what it is, learn from it, be proud of myself for doing well or working or whatever it is, and then throw it away and forget it. And if it does well, great. If it doesn't, it shouldn't really affect me. It shouldn't affect my memory of the experience. Like recently, this is going to sound like a brag, but something I talked to my therapist about. I've been talking to my therapist, trying to get out of the thing of having too much of how I think about myself being based on the result. We're working with the therapist on it a lot. And then I just got nominated for an Emmy.
Great.
Just now. Thank you. But it felt so good.
For what?
I did this show called Welcome to Chippendales that came out last year.
Right. All right, great.
I was thrilled. We did not expect it. All four of the main actors got nominated. The costume person did. Got to shout these people out. They're all wonderful. But it felt good to an alarming degree, where I was like, oh, I am still in this, and this is a trap. Like, I was sort of like replaying in my head how it felt in the first. I would like find myself scrolling back and looking at the text of when I found out, all this stuff, reliving conversations I had and looking up the list over and over. And I was like, this feels too important. It's good to be like, great, but move on. But the amount that it made me feel good about myself also scared me.
And it's embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
To like give a shit about this to the degree that I do. I was like, oh, this is a trap. The flip side of this is still going to crush me. I still have a lot of work to do. You mentioned you'd seen my Letterman set. That I wanted to do. Letterman is one of the reasons I wanted to be a comedian. I did that set. Went well, I was happy with it. I'd worked on that set for a year with Eddie Brill, who was the booker at the time. And as soon as it was done, I was like, that was good. How do I do this again? That's too much the other way. Emily would always be like, you don't rest on your laurels enough. You should like enjoy when things are good. But then I enjoy too much this thing that just happened, this getting nominated, because I felt like, this felt better than getting nominated for The Big Sick, which was an Oscar.
That's funny, dude.
It's an Oscar. It's my story. It's me and my wife. This felt better because it comes after a few years of things that I felt like, didn't come out as good as I wanted them to. So it feels, I don't know. It's all a trap, The other thing that I've had to learn is getting satisfaction from being with Emily, from being a good husband, from being, taking care of the house and all this stuff, having like a good life. Have worked on that, reprioritized it.
How did you reprioritize it? Because I say on here, I say in life all the time, it's like, it's very hard to change. Very hard to change your priorities.
Yes.
without almost dying.
Yeah.
Honestly, how do you reprioritize your life in a way that it is real? Because everyone can fake like, no, I'm gonna be
Well,
like,
that's the thing. I don't know exactly the mechanisms for it. I know if I think of the changes between our relationship over the last, say, 5 years or so, it would be that from my side, I really have decided that I want to show all of myself to Emily. So I would be afraid of telling her thoughts that were embarrassing to admit. Like,
did you tell her about the Emmy meaning more than the Oscar?
I have not yet. I don't. Can you take that out? Eternals was really fun. I've had a fucking great time.
No. Here, the reason why I bring it up,
Yes.
okay, is because I had seen an interview that you did that you said that because the reviews weren't great, they gave you PTSD.
I wouldn't say PTSD.
It bummed you out.
Emily, that what a downgrade. You got PTSD? No. Well, you were bummed out. All these soldiers coming back, pretty bummed out.
It's funny.
Emily,
It is pretty good, huh?
my wife Emily, who was a therapist, said you probably have a little bit of PTSD from it. It just you know how it is. You make something and you're really proud of it, and it's a very vulnerable thing putting something out. People have much harder lives than I do, and much bigger, much harder things to deal with.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
not what I'm saying. But
course.
when you make something, you really work really hard at it. I worked on that for a year. When it comes out and people don't like it, it hurts your feelings.
100%.
Yeah, right. It's hard.
I mean, I had a little bit of that, not even close to what you bring at Borderlands. Yeah. So I'm in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm in the poster. I'm in the get right there in the.
I saw you in the trailer. It was funny.
So I went to the premiere. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It got 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I love every. I love.
That's a bump from the 0. It was 0 last week. That's great news.
Hey, bro, it's up to.
You're making him feel bummed.
Oh, sorry.
It is a bump up, and you're right. You are very correct. It is a bump up.
So you went and you saw the movie in the theater.
Yeah, and I liked the way it looked. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, this is colorful. You know what I mean? And what's so funny? And I mean, I have to admit this, and I'm gonna. So, because we shot that years ago, and people would see it. People that worked on the film, like, oh, do you kill it in the movie? Right? You're so funny in it. And I'm sitting there in the premiere, and as soon as I come on the screen, and I'm not exaggerating, you could hear a pin drop in the room. Oh, damn. It was anti-comedy.
Jeez, dude.
Right?
Sorry.
And I'm sitting there watching it. I've been 2 scenes, and I'm watching it going, oh, those are all the wrong choices. You know what I mean? I did all the wrong choices.
That's not your fault, though. That's not on you.
I know.
When a movie's good, every fucking thing has to go exactly right. One thing goes bad, and the movie's terrible.
I know.
So these are things beyond your control.
No, obviously you can't control it. I mean,
Yeah.
you when you get a movie like that, you're like celebrating.
Yeah.
You can't fucking believe it. You know
Yeah,
what I
of
mean?
course.
And when you show up, you're on time. You know your line.
You're wearing your cool thing.
Yeah.
You look like a space guy.
And they go,
Yeah.
say this, and you just say it the best you can, right? And then they go, okay, we're moving on. And then that's the only process. You can't go, can I see it back?
Yeah, and you can't go, hey, next week, hey, actually, it's like stand-up, you do a bit, oh, it didn't quite work, you work on it, you come back, you do it again, a couple weeks later, you have a thing that works.
Yeah.
Movies, it's not like that.
It's not like that, no.
But you do get to have a few cracks at it, but you really have to trust the filmmaker to be like, make me look good, man.
Yeah.
Make it make sense, because you can't, all the colors of that movie, the way it looks, when you're there, you're not seeing that.
You're not.
The director has it in his head.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so your performance, whatever you give to it, really is only, it has to be guided by someone who understands what the product is going to be like.
Yeah. I know. I think that Eli did a good job.
Yeah, and I love Eli. I love his work. I know Eli.
He's done this. I mean,
Yeah.
I love him. And I thought it was a great looking movie. It just, I can't even pinpoint where it went wrong for me, but it just, it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. And there is a feeling of, because I don't get these kind of movies all the time. I get them once every 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, oh, I went up to bat, I struck out again, which is it wasn't my fault.
No, but
and then in 10 years from now, maybe I'll get another shot at a big
Listen.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care because I have a great life.
It really seems like you don't care.
No. What I'm saying is that, you know, I mean, maybe that was like for you, for the Eternals. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, no, dude, I completely relate. And I can say these things to other people and really mean them. And I know I'm right. I just can't say it to myself. Like, it's hard. It just sucks, this experience that you had. And I wasn't there for it, so I don't know how accurate it is, whatever. But that feeling of sitting there, watching something you think is going to be awesome, your face is massive on screen.
Yeah.
And you're saying things that should be hitting and they're not hitting. And you just, it's so, for me, it feels really embarrassing. It feels really humiliating.
That's what it is.
And it's, because you really, it's hard. I mean, it's hard. Acting's hard. You're putting yourself out there, you know? And when people reject it, it really feels like they're rejecting the inside of you.
I when I watch myself, I literally can feel my face blush.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? And it's such a weird feeling because people are like, it's packed. You're at the Man Chinese.
Yeah.
There's stars all around you. And you're trying to act cool. And you're watching and you're trying to be positive. But you could just feel your face get, you know what I mean?
Is it worse than bombing?
On stage.
Yeah, because it's forever bombing.
It's much worse than bombing.
It's way worse.
You bomb, then you go get a banana stick, go back, get back on stage.
Yeah. But this is like out there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
And
like,
it's never going to change.
you can't change. There's nothing you can do.
And you bomb, you know, it's that night, it's gone. It disappears. Maybe one person tweets about it, but nobody ever does. Nobody ever
No
does.
one cares.
This, Rotten Tomatoes, it gets talked about, articles written about.
But even that, in the streets, no one cares.
No, in the streets.
Yeah, when people see you, they're super excited to see you or whatever, and it's so you know, it's so nice. But you know, I remember seeing a clip of you with the Eternals, and that could have that was a huge movie. I mean, you were at a huge part. I had 2 scenes. I mean, you were in. I haven't seen it. I'm sorry, the Eternals. I'll watch it.
Crazy reveal.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna see it.
It's good. I liked it.
Can you take that again so it's more believable?
Actually,
Here, I'll ask.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw it?
I saw it, man. It was great.
All right.
Dude, that was so sweet, dude. Did you believe him?
No.
Okay, I do like it. It's just I was on a date when I went to go watch it, but I like Marvel movies, but she fell asleep and she left, and I didn't get any that night. So
Wait, this is the girl you're currently
This was
still
like
dating?
20 this was like 2018.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So you just told our guest
2021.
2021.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Hey,
God.
fuckface. Just listen.
What?
You just told our guest that you went to see the movie he was in,
Because I
and
love.
your
Okay, go ahead.
and your date fell asleep,
She fell asleep.
and then you got no pussy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I stayed through the
Maybe
whole-
not. Maybe leave that story out next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
Did you mistime the roofie?